Conflict between Israel and Palestine continues. The Labour Party appears to be deeply divided over Keir Starmer's stance on the Middle East crisis. 9 officers at the Glasgow Kelvin constituency Labour Party and 6 in the Edinburgh Northern and Leith Executive Committee resigned after accusing Labour of stifling debate within the party on this issue. We did ask to speak to someone from Scottish Labour this morning. No one apparently available. They did send us a statement, though. It says, Scottish Labour has repeatedly and unequivocally condemned the actions of Hamas. There's no justification for the loss of innocent life and the targeting of civilians. The Labour Party continues to believe strongly in the cause of peace in the region through a two-state solution. Well, in a moment we can speak to John McTernan, a political commentator and one of Tony Blair's former advisers. First of all, let's speak to Colm McHale, a young members representative on Labour's Scottish Executive Committee. Morning, Colm.
Morning, Martin. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for being with us. We understand the group wanted to submit a motion calling on Anna Sarwar to press for Israeli military action to stop, but officials stopped them from putting that motion forward. What do you make of all this?
Well, I mean, that's what happened. According to UK Labour's General Secretary, no local Labour Party can discuss ongoing events in Gaza. Now, for me, that's an insult to membership democracy. It's Labour members who drive our party, who chap doors at election time, and who ultimately should direct our party. We pay our subs. Now we're being told that at local parties we can't discuss the most pressing issue in the world today. That's despite the UN warning of a risk of ethnic cleansing in Palestine. To suggest and to silence solidarity with the people of Palestine just now is wrong. It's an insult to membership democracy.
Yeah, can you understand it? I mean, listen, this on a national level, this party's got an election to fight pretty soon. They're very, very wary of frightening the horses. The party has been on a bit of a journey over recent years, accusations of anti-Semitism, all that kind of stuff. It is pragmatic, is it not, from a national point of view, to say, listen, just, the SNP used to say wheesht for Indy. Is this not a kind of wheesht for Starmer kind of stance?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that Keir Starmer's response to this crisis is out of step with the British public. A YouGov poll conducted last week reported that upward of 70% of the British public support an immediate ceasefire. Keir Starmer is not yet calling for one. Labour's response has lost them 30 councillors, upwards of 25, certainly across the country. So I think that the party is very clearly out of step with public opinion. Hundreds of thousands of people last weekend and the weekend before rallied for a ceasefire. And as I say, Labour won't call for one. Keir Starmer's yet to retract his comments from an LBC interview where he appeared to suggest that Israel had the right to collectively punish the people of Palestine. Emily Thornberry, another lawyer, was on Newsnight and would not say that collective punishment was against international law. So I think the UK Labour leadership have failed continually to show leadership in this situation, to oppose the UK government in their outright support for Israel as it launches an inhuman offensive against the people of Gaza.
How damaging is this for the party? I mean, within the party, they might think, the party leadership might think, look, we've got to appear to be centrist here. We've got to keep pushing and towards this election, and don't do anything that would harm our agenda. Within the party itself, how harmful could this be?
Well, Labour members are the backbone of the Labour Party. As I say, it's Labour members who chap doors at election time, and Labour members are needed in the run-up to a general election more than ever. And if it's the case, as we've seen in Edinburgh and Glasgow, that members are taking action and considering their memberships, resigning their position over this issue, then it is detrimental, not just to the party's reputation, but materially in the run-up to a general election campaign.
And what could the consequences of that be?
Well, I think you're seeing already, as I said, that 25 Labour councillors in England have resigned their membership. I think, if I'm right, in Oxford, that's led to Labour losing control of the group. So that's a very material consequence which has happened as a result of Keir Starmer's line on this issue, which has failed to show solidarity with the people of Palestine who have been under siege, not just for 2 weeks, but for decades, living under, according to Amnesty International, apartheid rule. There's been a continual failing to call that out on behalf of the Labour leadership.
Would you like
That's not showing any leadership.
Would you like to see Anna Sarwar breaking ranks and joining the SNP and calling for a ceasefire?
Well, Anna Sarwar sent a speaker, the Scottish Labour Party rather, sent a speaker to the Glasgow demonstration On Saturday, Polly McNeill spoke on behalf of the Scottish Labour Party. Now, that's already a deviation from what Keir Starmer is saying down south. Labour Party members were advised by the UK General Secretary not to attend demonstrations, but Scottish Labour are sending official representation to those demonstrations. That is a welcome step and it is the correct direction. I would like to see a call for a ceasefire, yes.
How do you feel about the Labour Party broadly at the moment?
I want Labour to win the next general election. I want a bold Labour Party which is going to offer young people a future which is worth fighting for. I want young people to be motivated to vote for the Labour Party.
Has your faith been shaken in it by this, though?
Yes, it has. I think no. Well, my faith in the Labour Party hasn't been shaken, but my faith in the UK leadership has been. Yeah.
Okay, all right, Colm McHale.
Although I think it's important to add that Scottish Labour has taken a different approach.
Okay, all right, Col. Thank you very much indeed for that, Col. Young members representative on the Labour Scottish Executive Committee. John McTernan's with us now, as discussed. Former advisor to Tony Blair, of course. Not very good look, all this, John. Would they not have just been better letting the Kelvinside branch have their vote? Nobody would have heard anything about it, and you wouldn't have this problem.
Well, there's two problems with what your previous speaker said. The first is you can't have a ceasefire without both sides agreeing, and I don't think Hamas have declared a ceasefire. Hamas are actually rocketing, attacking Israel at the moment, and Hamas started this with a terrorist outrage. But
would it not be better to call for a ceasefire, to call for peace rather than back one side?
Yeah, sure. What Col said was. The motion wants to press for Israel military action to stop. That's not a ceasefire. That's militarily standing down. So the problem is the content of it. And to go to the critique of Labour's leadership, it sounds like Col and the people who've resigned in Kelvin and Edinburgh, Leith and Northern haven't actually read what David Evans, the General Secretary of the Labour Party, it's not a leader's office thing, it's a General Secretary thing, but his letter is about the party rules. And all the letter did was it said elected representatives should be careful about going to any demonstration in which people might make inflammatory remarks or statements from the stages, because you'll get associated with that as a Labour representative, and seen with banners, you might be associated with those banners as well. That is sensible advice. But on motions, Labour members were reminded of two things. One, party rules say you cannot do things which bring the party into disrepute. That's been a rule since 1918. And the Labour people were drawn to the attention of the Labour Code of Conduct on anti-Semitism and the Labour Code of Conduct on Islamophobia.
And so as a consequence,
as a consequence, the elected chairs of Kelvin and of Edinburgh, Leith and Northern, the elected chairs ruled out of order motions that were presented to them. That's actually what elected chairs do. It's not.
Let me ask you a question.
Not my decision. I'm not in the meeting.
I've got David Evans' email in front of me now. In what way would a motion calling on Anas Sarwar to press for Israeli military action to stop bring the party into disrepute?
Calling for Israeli action to stop is denying Israel's right to self-defense. You're saying in a war. Call it a war if you're calling it a ceasefire. You want a ceasefire. There's a war. In a war where the 1,400 Israelis were killed in a day, and the largest number of Israelis killed in any military action since the creation of the State of Israel.
Sure.
In that situation, members of the Labour Party in one branch or whatever, were trying to pass a resolution. They're presumably trying to call it as an emergency resolution because no branch will have been able to pass it. They were trying to abuse the rules to pass a resolution which would bring the Labour Party into disrepute. If you call them one nation facing a terrorist attack, you're saying they should give up their arms.
But John, as you well know, in response to that terror attack, the Israeli offensive has cost the lives of 4,500 innocent Palestinians. Do you not think that a significant proportion of the membership of the Labour Party would want that Israeli offensive to be reined in? And do you not think they should have the opportunity, at least in the constituency party, to express that opinion?
The thing that's interesting is that you keep on changing the terms, as did Col, the terms of the motion that was presented. You cannot call for Israel's military action to stop without saying Israel has no right to defend itself. And that's not a situation that the UK government believes, that the Labour Party believes, the Scottish Labour believe.
There are nuances in this. This isn't necessarily the only way for them to conduct military action, is it? Bombarding them from the air.
For Israeli military action to stop. So to stop. Now, that is not a motion that is within the rules of the Labour Party. It was ruled out not by David Evans, not by Keir Starmer, not by me, but by the chairs of those local constituencies. And if people want to huff and puff and resign from the executive committee, an executive committee of the Labour Party is not a privilege, it is an extra meeting every month. It's a punishment.
John, let me just ask you one last question, because I have voices in my head telling me we're running out of time. Are you concerned that within the Labour Party, Broadchurch as it is, that this move to the centre, this determination not to scare the horses, to keep the party on track for this election, is going to turn members away?
No, absolutely not. And what I am concerned about is that terrorists like Hamas, they seek reactions from everybody within a democracy, whether it's Israel and Israeli military, or other countries in the Middle East and North Africa, or other countries around the world. They seek to sow division. The right end point in this is, as the Scottish Labour statement said, a two-state solution. Hamas don't want a two-state solution. They want a one-state solution, a state of Palestine without Israel. We have to work hard in the end on moving toward peace. But in the meantime, humanitarian support is absolutely critical.
All right. John McTurnan, many thanks indeed for your time.